No love for a politician, a congressman, or a senator. If the country that they put in first ain't the United States of America. No love for these politicians with corporate interests in other countries. Only one that I serve is God. I don't serve man, I don't serve money. No love for the people living in the USA, but always hating it. Got a lot I probably shouldn't say to y'all. Matter of fact, I'll just pray on it. I'm pro-life, pro-God, pro-gun, not ashamed of it. Yo, worshiping bullet, yo, killing babies, mutilating children.
Now, the other thing that's really interesting is the case with Luigi Mangione. Now, this is the individual, the alleged individual that actually murdered or assassinated the United Health CEO. And parts of this story does not make any sense whatsoever. It looks like this was a operation, and it might have been run by the FBI, CIA in the end, because when you really look at it, this individual who decided to get a fake ID, cover his face, act like a ghost, like he didn't exist, all of a sudden, they caught him with really no problem whatsoever. I mean, think about how all these things played out. Green Lives Matter put this out and said, so the United Healthcare assassin was still holding on to the murder weapon. He was discovered by a McDonald's employee. He wrote down a manifesto held in his pocket. His social media has not been wiped. He was wearing the same clothes. Do we believe this story? So let's just put this in perspective. He went ahead and he got a fake ID. He planned this. He got a fake ID. He covered himself except for his eyes. He went ahead, waited and tracked the CEO down and murdered the CEO. Then, after this, instead of laying low, instead of, hiding out, using his fake ID, maybe to get out of town, he decided to go into a McDonald's. He decided to sit in the McDonald's until he was identified. And the people then called the police on him. They found the fake ID, the manifesto, the gun, because he brought all of it to McDonald's. And this is the same guy that secured a fake ID, lodging so he couldn't be traced. Same guy that disappeared and all he had to do was lay low, but he decided to go to McDonald's where he just sat there where people recognized him. Does this make any sense whatsoever? Or was this individual set up and the real killer is still at large? So what was the real motivation for all of this? Number one, is this sending a message to all CEOs? Keep your mouth shut or else, because a lot of these individuals most likely are involved in a lot of these scams or involved in the pedo networks, involved in many of these things. Or was this a message to the family of Luigi Mangione? Keep your mouth shut because Trump is now coming in and we don't need you speaking. So let's break this down a little bit. Shadow of Ezra put this out on X and said, Luigi Mangione, the suspect in the United Healthcare CEO murder, hints he is being framed, alleging that the $8,000 in cash and $2,000 in foreign currency found during his arrest were planted. He has remained silent with authorities, speaking only to a judge, where he mentioned multiple residents, eventually naming Honolulu, Hawaii. Adding to the mystery, he stated that the bag was waterproof. One of his friends posted on Instagram that the situation is upside down. He is currently being held without bail, pending an arrest warrant from New York City. When you look at the pictures of him and the actual assassin, well, Luigi, he has like a unibrow. The assassin does not. It doesn't match. Something is wrong here. So that doesn't make any sense right off the bat there. Plus, Laura Loomer put this out and said, Luigi Mangione, the suspected United Healthcare CEO shooter, is Facebook friends with Moses Hetfield. Hetfield is one of Mangione's few Facebook friends, and the two grew up in close proximity from each other in Maryland. Moses Hetfield is the son of Mark Hetfield, the president of the Jewish NGO HIAS, which facilitates illegal immigration into the United States with funding from DHS. DHS Secretary Alejandro Myorkas was on the board of HIAS before he was appointed to DHS Secretary by Joe Biden. Moses' mother is Miriam Hetfield, who works at DHS with Alejandro Myorkas. She works in Citizenship and Immigration Services. What are the odds that the alleged shooter has 1 degree of separation away from DHS Alejandro Myorkas? So that is very, very interesting. It's amazing how all of this is connected. Tim On Point put this out on X and said, "Many of you don't realize the significance of the murder of Brian Thompson. I just wrapped a long discussion with one of the best minds in executive protection. We both agreed that this murder is a cusp event. If Luigi Mangione is the killer of Brian Thompson, and if the stated backstory holds true, you're going to see a thing that you're not mentally prepared for. Some thoughts. The murderer is already seen as a folk hero to people on all sides of the social and political spectrum. The shooter made this murder a performance. He wrote and acted it in his own revenge movie. It's the reason why we are so captured by the news. It's terrible, weird, and captivating. We all feel like we've seen this movie before. It's difficult to separate the wrongness of murder from the fictional story of justice we enjoyed in the theater. There's also a large number of people who will say, yes, the murder is wrong, but can't help feel a small sense of justice or sympathy. Humans are messy like that. Healthcare companies are disliked by most people. Almost everyone has a personal bad experience, particularly where insurance is the topic. The most likely outcome here is that the murderer goes to prison for life, as he should, but as a dark underdog or even a hero to many who hold legitimate grudges against certain companies. There are many copycats looking at the story and making plans, writing their script. Do they follow through? Can't say. But a genre of crime has just been reincarnated. Billy the Kid, Bonnie and Clyde, bad people with favorable folk tales. I'm very curious to watch how today's thought leaders field this one. So the question in all of this is, what was the true purpose? Was this really the murderer? Because a lot of things don't make sense whatsoever. Now, number one, they could be saying, listen, all you CEOs out there, stay quiet, don't talk, because if you do, this is what's going to happen, because I do believe there's a lot of corporations, a lot of individuals that are involved in money laundering and doing certain things, because remember, there is the Epstein client list, there is the information on Diddy. So are they sending a message trying to tell people, listen, we will come after you if you mention anything, if you start to point fingers, this is what's going to happen. Now, the other thing is, are they trying to keep certain individuals quiet about what happened during all the illegals coming to this country, which also connects to what? Child trafficking, human trafficking, pedophilia. So will all this be connected? Maybe, maybe not. But what's very interesting about this is look how quickly they were able to catch this individual. Look how quickly they were able to tell everyone what this was all about. And also they brought out evidence before anything was really done. I mean, I never saw a police organization, put out the evidence before the investigation was completed. And they did this right off the bat. Now, the other thing that's really interesting is that there was this video that was put out there, and everyone's saying that it's from him. It's like a dead man switch. And when you watch the video, at the end, it says soon, December 11th. The problem with this is that YouTube came out and they said that no, this is not connected to this individual. They suspended the account, and they're saying there's no connection between this video that was put out and Luigi Mangione. Now, this is very, very interesting. But again, when you start to look at it, the backpack didn't match, the eyebrows don't match. And actually, this individual was studying the Unabomber. Why didn't this individual wear some type of glasses where it hid his eyes? Why did he or those people that were running the operation, why did they leave the eyes exposed? Because again, they did it right in front of a camera. They knew where the cameras were. They knew, they cased the area. They knew when this person was walking down the street. They knew all of this information. So if this person was really studying the Unabomber, why weren't they wearing glasses to hide the eyes? Because they wanted the eyes out there because they needed that part of it. And they needed that part to actually go after this individual. And we're going to have to see how this all plays out. This is going to be very, very interesting. DC Drano put this out and said, kind of crazy how we know more about the United Healthcare CEO assassins after 5 days than we know about Trump's PA assassin after 5 months. We have his manifesto, all his social media accounts, his X posts, his LinkedIn, years of photos and social media comments, yet almost nothing about crooks. That's very, very interesting. And that is interesting. Why is that? Because, again, when it's an operation, they provide all the information and they want you to look in this direction. When it's an operation that they're trying to cover up, you never find out anything.